Hello friends, we are back for season 3 of Catherine's Quarters and I am so excited. Meanwhile, season 2 came and went because I was changing jobs, gallivanting the world, traveling, having a great time. You know, the world opened half back up before monkeypox became a thing. And now we're back and the NFL is here. So we have so much to talk about. We're gonna talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs, the NBA finals. I got my favorite Clay shirt today because Clay is the man. We love Clay. I saw Jordan Poole wear this shirt during, I think it was the Memphis Grizzlies series, and I was like, I gotta get one of those. So I did. But we'll talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs, a little bit about the NBA finals, and then we will get into my favorite season. The NFL's back, and I'm so happy. I'm like relieved that for the next 4 months, I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna do on Sunday. It'll always be football. And then, you guys know I normally do a pop culture or culture segment at the end, depending on whether it's a heavy or light topic. Today, for this preview episode, I am going to give you guys just a little ounce of what we're going to be doing for Catherine's Quarters in season 3, and I'm so excited about it. We'll get to that later before I say too much. We have so much to get to. Why don't we just get to it? So guys, we have to start out talking about the NBA playoffs, the NBA finals. It was fun. If you did not watch, shame on you, but it was fun. First round kind of up in the air. The only team to get swept in the first round was, the only team to get swept all playoffs actually was the Brooklyn Nets. They got swept by my Celtics. I went to game 3. It was fantastic. The Celtics moving on was exactly what I wanted. I didn't know how far they could go, but when they beat the Brooklyn Nets, I was like, well, we'll see what the second round has to bring because those are the defending champs. And I was a little bit nervous. I will say, to start out the playoffs, I was like, Boston Celtics have been my favorite team for a very, very long time. But I am wholly obsessed with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Looney. I didn't watch a whole lot of Minnesota Timberwolves games, but Andrew Wiggins had one of the best postseasons. He just flourished, and when Steph Curry couldn't find a shot, Andrew Wiggins was finding his. We'll get to all of that. Or at the beginning of the playoffs, I really wanted to see Golden State and the Celtics. That's all I wanted. I wanted that in the finals because I figured that would be the easiest way for me to get through how many games the finals were gonna end up being. So we'll start with the Western Conference because, whew, fun times. Obviously, I wanted Golden State to go far, rise back to the top. Klay Thompson coming back from an injury after being out for 995,000 million years, and Steph Curry suffered an injury right before the playoffs. I just wanted it for them. Second round comes along, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors. That is one of my favorite playoff series ever. And maybe I have recency bias. That was just so much fun. Since then, I have watched the Memphis Grizzlies series, game 1 through game 6, at least 3 times a week. Just the excitement from both teams. Game 1 was wild. Draymond Green gets ejected. It came down to a last second layup miss by Ja Morant. Game 2 was also fun to watch because you watched the guys rally. It made for a really back and forth series, and Ja Morant gets hurt, but you would think Ja Morant got hurt, and then game 4, game 5, obviously Golden State has to win, right? No. Game 4 was a really close one that Golden State really could have lost. And then game 5, Golden State gets blown out. They were losing by like 50 points at half. But then game 6, we get this guy. And oh my goodness, was I so excited to see Klay just start going off, knocking down threes, getting into his rhythm, having a good time on the basketball court. Also in the Western Conference, during that second round, the Phoenix Suns were playing the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks are nothing to sneeze at because Luka Doncic is there. They also had Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, what's that other kid's name with the crazy hair? Reggie Bullock. And so those guys, they may not shoot hot all the time. They may not be Steph and Klay, but when they get hot, you better watch out. They will make you pay for it. With the Phoenix Suns, they literally fell apart in game 7. And as a top-seeded home court advantage, the way they fell apart was like shocking. They still lost the game like 123-90. The Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns just go at it, and the Dallas Mavericks come out on top. So then of course the Dallas Mavericks play the Golden State Warriors. This one's not gonna be a walk in the park, but it'll be just fine. Like, they're gonna win. And I don't think anybody really had doubts about them winning. And then Luka just came out and he was dropping 40-point games like it was nothing. Then you get a little bit nervous because, you know, you might be up 2 games, but if Reggie Bullock and Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith continue to hit 5 threes a game, this is going to be a real series. The Golden State Warriors end up winning. They go on to the finals. Now, let's talk about the Eastern Conference, because I told you at the beginning I wanted my Celtics to make it to the finals. I was very concerned about their path to the finals. They had taken the harder road during the season to just kind of play all of their guys, make sure that they were ready to go, and they ended up having a higher seed. So they played the Brooklyn Nets to start, and then they go on to play the reigning champs, the Milwaukee Bucks, with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I was like, this may not end well for me. The Celtics, it felt to me, and I feel like this in actually all of the games that they played. In round 2 when they played the Bucks, in round 3 when they played the Miami Heat, and even in the finals when they played the Golden State Warriors. I just felt like they were so in their heads about the moment. It'd be like spurts of greatness and then really, really dumb mistakes. The Milwaukee Bucks series was phenomenal. I mean, majority of those games came down to like last second shots, blocks, threes, whatever. It was wild. And then when they played the Miami Heat, I think I was in New Orleans for the game 7 of the Miami Heat Celtics series. I don't care what we do on Sunday. I will be watching the Celtics play the Miami Heat. And I don't want anybody to bother me. I want to have a drink in my hand and I want to stare at the TV until the game is over and the Celtics have won. And my friends oblige me because they're great people. They also understand my life. But I was very glad my Celtics figured it out and got to the NBA Finals. Unfortunately, they couldn't pull it out. For them to get to the finals, especially after all of the conversations over the last year about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown playing together, they figured out how to do it. And I think they shut up a lot of people who are like, oh, this is never gonna work, you have to break them up. Jason Tatum may not have had the best finals he could have, but I do think that the playoff push that they made, the hard road that they took, the teams that they played, I think that they really have something good there. I know a lot of people like to talk bad about Marcus Smart, but I will forever and always love Marcus Smart because he is a guy who will give up his entire everything. He would give you all of his fingers and all of his toes, all of his limbs. I think he would give you hair follicles and nostrils and organs if you needed them to win a basketball game. Does he make dumb decisions sometimes? Absolutely yes. Does he actually make good decisions sometimes as well? Yes. So I'm gonna just leave it there. My Celtics, I'm proud of the run that they made. We'll see what happens in the offseason, and then we'll get to the 2022-2023 season and we'll see who's looking who, because there were moves right after the finals, to be fair. I mean, it felt like a week later we were talking about more basketball moves. Jalen Brunson to here, Gary Payton to there, this to there. It was wild. We'll have a conversation about the NBA season once we get a little bit closer, but you know what we gotta talk about next, guys? Football is back! Oh, it makes me so happy. So guys, football is here. Tomorrow we start week 1 of the NFL season. I did a really fun thing for the Super Bowl. Obviously the Super Bowl was Rams, Bengals, in LA. I do this really fun hosting gig with Let's Hang.live. It's basically like a virtual watch party. This was born out of the pandemic. Watch the game with other fans. And then we also bring in your favorite athletes. Doing this for 2 years in the pandemic was a lot of fun. For the Super Bowl, we did the first Hang House, and we live streamed it, and all of the audience that comes to the virtual watch party also gets to engage with the players. It's a lot of fun. We had a lot of amazing athletes. Trayvon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, Theo made an appearance, Andre Reed, Greg Rousseau. It was a great time. So let's talk a little bit about this season though. The off season happened, lots and lots of moving parts. Odell Beckham still has a locker with the Rams, but not sure that he's gonna play there. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, they seem fine in Cincinnati, so everything's all good there. But there have been a lot of moves. So let's talk about the player moves. There were QB moves, there were wide receiver moves, there were defensive player moves, there was just all kind of movement happening in the off season. So we're gonna talk about the QBs first. The biggest story. Well, I don't know if we can have the biggest story because there's a lot of big stories with quarterbacks around here. Russell Wilson is no longer a Seahawk, and if you haven't been on social media, let me tell you, he is very down for his team to ride at this point in time.
Let's ride. Green screening it with my boy.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. We in the orange, baby. Let's go. Let's ride, baby. Ooh.
To the Denver Broncos. Drew Lock is now a Seattle Seahawk. It's looking like Geno Smith is probably going to get the start for the Seahawks to start week 1. But Russell Wilson is now a Bronco, and Jerry Jeudy is probably jumping for joy that he has a guy who can sling the ball down the field in that way. The Denver Broncos automatically become a team that you're much more scared of than you were when they had Drew Lock. It was a very interesting move, and I think very unexpected for most of the regular public, as you and I are. It's super exciting to see Russell get to have a fresh start, somewhere new, something different, because the last couple of years in Seattle have been a little yikes. So Marcus Mariota is now going to be starting for the Atlanta Falcons, where he has Kyle Pitts to throw to, Drake London when he comes off of his injury. Who else they got? They got Cordero Patterson in the backfield. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. No, because Julio left too. We'll get to the wide receivers. You know, I think Marcus Mariota, maybe he can have like some, I don't know what to call it, resurrection? That feels aggressive. Let me not call it a resurrection, but maybe he can have a good season there. Who knows? We'll see. Matt Ryan is now the Indianapolis Colts. Did I say Indianapolis? In Indy with the Colts. We'll see what Matt Ryan's gonna do. I don't expect anything like world beater out of the Broncos, the Falcons, or the Colts. But these are some moves that have been made, and they're big moves. The wide receiver moves that have happened also shift the dynamic within all of the division. So the other quarterback that I want to talk about is absolutely not Baker Mayfield, because I have nothing to say about Baker Mayfield until I see him do something with the Carolina Panthers. I just have nothing. In my soul, I have nothing. So the other quarterback that I do want to talk about, though, is Desean Watson. Desean Watson has had a very, 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 very tumultuous 2 years. The allegations that came out, they will be dealt with in whatever way they're going to be dealt with, whether it be actually actionable, dealing with what has happened and trying to rectify the situation, or it'll just be what it is and no one will talk about it, and Desean Watson will start after his suspension is over and no one will care about it anymore. It's gonna be one of those two things. The Browns, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Browns. I know Baker Mayfield took them from a 3-win season to a 9 to 10 playoff win season, but I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Browns. They lost Jarvis Landry. Baker Mayfield's obviously gone. Odell Beckham does not play there anymore. I mean, I'm probably forgetting someone. Oh, Amari Cooper got traded there in the offseason. So, I mean, Amari Cooper is there. So when Desean Watson comes back, he's going to have guys to throw the ball to. Yes, but do I believe that that makes them some kind of contender in any way, shape, or form? No, not really. See, when you have quarterback uncertainty, it just makes for a difficult situation for everyone else on the field. So the only other quarterback I'm going to talk about is my guy, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is now with the Washington Commanders. Yes, they changed their name to the Commanders, and it's still not sitting right with anyone for the most part. But whatever, we're going to go with the Commanders. We'll call them the Commanders. So Carson Wentz is now going to be leading the Commanders down the field every time the offense is out there, and we'll see how that goes. I mean, he does have Terry McLaurin. I think the Logan Thomas, he's going to be back, that tight end. There's somebody else I'm forgetting. I'm a little sad for Taylor Heineke because I love Taylor Heineke, but he's a really solid backup, so I hope they end up keeping him just in case Carson Wentz gets hurt. I really get frustrated when people talk badly about Carson Wentz. Ask any of my friends. Really angers me to a point. I know Nick Foles came in after Carson Wentz got hurt and literally played lights out for 3 games to all of the playoff games and then to win the Super Bowl. He played really, really well. He has a statue in Philly. No one's taking anything away from Nick Foles. I just feel like people give Carson Wentz so much crap. I want to see him play well with the Commanders. I just don't want to see him do too well. Now that we've gotten quarterback moves out of the way, oh my gosh, the amount of wide receivers that have been moving around the league is wild, wild. The first one, Davante Adams. Davante Adams is no longer playing for Green Bay. Davante Adams in the black and silver, and Lord knows they are happy to have him. He is a phenomenal wide receiver. Now going to be playing with Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller and, oh, let's not forget Hunter Renfrow. They have a really, really fun to watch offense. Another major move came on draft night for my Eagles. So excited about this one. AJ Brown from the Tennessee Titans will now be playing with Jalen Hurts and my squad in Philly. And let me tell you, on draft night when the trade happened, there was so much excitement. It was wild. And it has not subsided since we have gone through this offseason. To be fair, Devonta Smith is also on that squad as a wide receiver, and he is phenomenal. We didn't see him have a huge breakout year, but This is his second year, Jalen's second year starting. They have got to have some chemistry now that will translate super well on the field. And we have a full running back by committee situation. Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell. We just got a whole lot going on, and you know Jalen can run the ball. It's going to be fun. And you know, we shored up a little bit on defense. I think there's still a couple of things we could probably work on, but I am really, really, really excited about my Eagles. So another huge offseason move was Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is the crazy deep threat cheetah that we knew from Kansas City, who was catching everything that Patrick Mahomes would just toss up in the air, right? Tyreek Hill now plays for Miami. I think the Miami Dolphins are set to have a very interesting, very fun season. Tyreek Hill is one of those elite wide receivers that you just cannot take your eyes off of. And half the time, you're gonna try and catch the guy, and you're not gonna catch him. We're gonna see what that looks like on the field. Two other wide receiver moves that I wanna talk about. First, Amari Cooper. We talked about it a little while ago. Amari Cooper is now with the Browns. No longer with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sure the Dallas Cowboys are gonna miss him though, because Sedarian Lamb is probably going to get a lot of the targets from the defense, and obviously Dak would wanna go to him, so he's gonna be covered a whole hell of a lot, probably double teamed a whole hell of a lot, and that leaves you with tossing that shit to either Zeke or Tony Pollard. We love them both. He's probably gonna end up using Dalton Schultz a lot now that he doesn't have Amari Cooper anymore either, but we'll see how that offense goes. The last wide receiver move I wanna talk about is Hollywood Brown. Now this one kind of shocked everyone, and this one I'm pretty sure happened on draft night too, unless it happened, I think it might have happened the second night. Maybe it happened the first. I don't remember exactly because that was 4 months ago and I've been gallivanting the world. But Hollywood Brown from the Baltimore Ravens is now with the Arizona Cardinals, which is nice for the Arizona Cardinals because Kyler Murray got his contract signed. There was a little bit of like media coverage about all of the things that were in the contract because it was a little suspect, but whatever. He's gonna be without DeAndre Hopkins for the first like 7 games of the season. So having Hollywood Brown, who is, you know, I don't feel like he made a whole hell of a lot of noise in Baltimore, but everything was focused on Lamar Jackson. That's just what it was. So we'll see what Hollywood Brown can do with Kyler Murray at quarterback. And, you know, I think the Cardinals have a good team. I don't think they have a great team. I think they have a playoff contending team. But we'll see how it all shakes out. That was a very interesting acquisition by the Cardinals, and honestly a very interesting decision by the Ravens. I know I said that was the last move we were going to talk about, but I have to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers really fast because they lost a couple pieces, but they also gained a couple guys who may be rookies, but still they put on a pretty nice show during preseason. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously Big Ben retired over the offseason. Unfortunate to see him go, but I'm a Mike Tomlin fan, not a Ben Roethlisberger fan. So in the draft, the Steelers decided to pick Kenny Pickett. There was a lot of corners going and a lot of wide receivers going, and the Steelers decided that they're going to pick Kenny Pickett, quarterback. He's fresh out of a college dorm room, and he came in with another rookie, and they looked really good in the preseason games for the Steelers. The Steelers are going to get Najee Harris back. On the depth chart, they have Mitchell Trubisky at the top. He's going to be QB1 for week 1. We'll see how long that lasts, because what the Steelers fans saw and everybody else watching preseason football was Kenny Pickett. He's going to take some licks when he gets into real games because it was preseason, but he looks like he has a handle and he can totally figure it out within the first couple of weeks. I think he'll be fine. It'll be interesting to see if the Steelers don't play well enough, Mitchell Trubisky specifically, in the first couple of games, what decisions and moves they make. But you know, Mike Tomlin is the most secretive person on the planet outside of Bill Belichick. So we'll see how that goes. They also have a wide receiver that they picked in the draft, which is great because Juju I can't say his name fast, and I also think I talk too fast. Juju Smith-Schuster is now with the Kansas City Chiefs. That ridiculous, wild offense. They get George Pickens. George Pickens had the pretty slow toe tap touchdown in the preseason game, and that was so fun to watch because it was Kenny Pickett to George Pickens, and it was just like a match made in heaven. And so you know all of the Steelers fans, all of the football fans, to be fair, because I was even like, whoa, that's exciting. I was like, look at this little duo that wants to develop in their rookie season. How cute is this? But it really was like a really nice little pass, a nice little toe tap. I was like, okay, guys, you guys figure out what you're doing, because somebody needs to be. I mean, Chase Claypool is still there, obviously. They still have Pat Freiermuth. Their defense is still pretty good. Obviously, they have Najee Harris running the ball. So I'm forgetting somebody in that wide receiver room, and I don't remember who it is. His name currently escapes me. It's probably because I haven't slept in 30 hours, but who knows? We'll see how it goes. But he does have a lot of things to utilize. So I'm really excited about all these offseason moves, though, because I really do feel like the league has become interesting to see how the dynamic of the league changes. Like, there's always the staples. You see, I didn't even talk about the Buccaneers in this preview episode. In Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers does not have Devontae Adams to throw to anymore. Derrick Henry in Tennessee, Cooper Kupp, he's probably going to do something similar. But I do see like a shift in dynamics, because not only did players leave certain teams, but they also left certain divisions. And so you kind of change the dynamic when you shift who exists in those divisions. And so it's going to be really fun and interesting to see what these second-year quarterbacks do, what these rookies end up doing. There's a lot of other teams that we do need to have a conversation about. And we're gonna do that on the next episode of Katherine's Quarters. Gotta kick us off right with a Katherine's Quarters episode for the 2022-2023 NFL season. So exciting. And instead of doing a pop culture segment this go around, I'm going to tell you guys what the plans are for KQ this season. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that you hit that subscribe button, because you're gonna get 2 videos a week. I am a masochist. It's fine. Previews and recaps. And then you gotta make sure that you're following me on Twitter and you're following me on Instagram. We got a lot of fun football content coming from here, there, and everywhere. So make sure you do that first. But I also want to get you guys super excited about the fact that I'm gonna have guests this season. I'm gonna bring in my friends who love football, know football, played football, all kinds of stuff. We're gonna talk about literally everything. We're gonna talk fantasy, we're gonna talk favorite teams, we're gonna talk just dumpster fires that should be dismantled as squads and take them, throw them in the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic, whichever your preference is. If you want to go Gulf of Mexico, we could do that too. We're going to talk about it all. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really excited to be doing Katherine's Quarters again. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. I will see you guys on Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. Check you later.